Sports run our country. Whether we like it or not, the market for sports is larger than it ever has been before, and it continues to grow as the years go by. And for as long as sports have been around, the act of wagering money on the event of professional and collegiate athletes has gained tremendous steam over the past several years. Today I'm here to discuss the current U.S. Supreme Court case, New Jersey versus Sports Leagues. On Monday, December 4, 2017, the state of New Jersey, led by attorney Ted Olson, attempts to prove his case for legalized sports betting in the state of New Jersey. His opponent, representing the NCAA and four major sports leagues, is Paul Clement. The one piece of legislation that is leading this debate is the Professional and Amateur Sports Protection Act. This document, signed in 1992, is one of the leading arguments for the New Jersey side, believing that the legislation is outdated and unjust for the state. This bill was put into place for the purpose of defining the legal status of sports betting throughout the United States. Virtually, this meant that all sports gambling was unpermitted throughout the country, other than a few specified locations, one being Las Vegas, Nevada. As recently as last month, which marked the 25th anniversary of the bill being passed, the AGA, or American Gaming Association, had hopes of eliminating this bill once and for all, which would allow gambling everywhere. According to NJ.com, Attorney Olson believes that the statute attempted to have the states ban sports betting. According to SportsIllustrated.com, Olson also argued that PASPA cannot command states to act or not act in certain ways, as doing so would violate the anti-commandeering element of the 10th Amendment. Public policy, he argued, has always allowed states to legislate without being commandeered by the federal government to act in a certain way. However, several Supreme Court justices were quick to turn that argument down. On the other hand, Paul Clement argued that the bill does not command the states to do anything. Rather, the law merely provides a regulatory framework for states and individuals alike. Clement brought up several cases and situations in which Congress had similarly restricted state behavior. Over the next 6 months of hearings and debates from both sides, the goal of the state is to prove to the Supreme Court that this law is outdated and shields the states from abiding by their own sets of laws. As a sports fan my entire life and currently a sport management major, I absorb sports on a daily basis in one aspect or another. Whether it's football, basketball, baseball, hockey, or even poker, I feel I have embraced sports in virtually every capacity possible. However, over the past year or two, I have studied the science and art behind sports gambling and the effects it has had on the United States. There are several reasons that this case could go one way or the other. One would be integrity. Currently, a large percentage of all sports fans often reference the integrity of the game and how that must be always abided in all situations. For instance, the sports league side will likely reference individuals such as Pete Rose, who famously bet on games while serving as manager for the Cincinnati Reds, or ex-NBA referee Tim Donahue, who placed wagers on games that he officiated, or even NFL stars Alex Karras and Paul Hornung were once suspended a full season for betting on NFL games. However, as it stands, many see the light at the end of the tunnel as far as the progression of gambling and how inevitable it is that something will change. Another factor that the court will seemingly take into consideration are the evolving attitudes, especially of those in high standing within the four major sports. According to CasinoTimes.com, on November 13, 2014, current NBA Commissioner Adam Silver penned a letter to the New York Times suggesting that legalized gambling would be good for the league. Current MLB Commissioner Robert Manfred, as well as MLS Commissioner Don Garber, have similar stances on the topic as well, which is great news moving forward for the league. The question becomes, why are the commissioners of these leagues fighting the state if they are proponent of the same thing? The answer is the compartmentalization factor. The leagues do not want a state-by-state solution like New Jersey is proposing. Instead, the leagues would like to see the U.S. Congress conduct a solution for the entire country. It is definitely an interesting dynamic as this case moves forward. However, a notably absent figure from the picture is NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell, whose league is likely to be the most affected. Current Sports Illustrated writer and former Green Bay Packer executive Andrew Brandt has several opinions on the subject at hand. Beyond the first 2 points, Brandt also agrees that there is an inevitability factor within the debate. Aside from the fact that these who would like to see the states win, there's also the points that the leagues are preparing for the outcome. The NFL recently invested in Sports Radar, whose business is to ensure gaming integrity and monitor sports betting, just 2 years ago. There's also the monetary factor, which is an unavoidable topic when it comes to sports these days. Organizations are currently seeking new ways to generate revenue and increase fan engagement. As a preliminary factor to the situation, owners have seen fantasy football skyrocket over the past few seasons, and legalized gambling would accelerate the process even more. Stephen Master of Nielsen Research recently spoke about the non-better versus better analogy, which states that non-bettors typically watch 16 games per season, while the latter watch roughly 40 games per season, as increased viewers will only generate more money. Ultimately, one of the two sides will win by the time the Supreme Court comes to a decision in the spring. However, there are several outcomes that can occur. The court could simply leave the ruling the way it is. The court could also declare PASPA unconstitutional, allowing New Jersey to start operating sportsbooks immediately, with other states poised to follow suit. This is something the leagues oppose but must be prepared to manage. Beyond those two extremes, the court could resolve the dispute in a more technical way. This result would probably make the ruling New Jersey specific, a result other states would dislike. The court could also invoke the extremely unlikely nuclear option, banning gambling everywhere, including Las Vegas, in order to treat all the states equally. That result would send shockwaves through the gambling world and halls of Congress. After one day of the hearing, only time will tell how the judges will continue to react to the remainder of the arguments from both sides. However, after day one, the public, specifically on Twitter, are giving the states a 6-3 advantage for the Supreme Court to pass the law in New Jersey. Stay tuned.